Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are going to be watching this from. Welcome to In Conversation with MJ. Today, I have four upcoming leaders or four great individuals who are going to be sharing with us what they think and how they have reached where they are. And also, they're going to be sharing about what is shaping them in looking themselves going towards where they want to be going. So this is going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be a casual conversation, and I would love to welcome our panel of five folks here, including myself. Welcome Himani, Vaishali, Selvan, and Shivanjini to this conversation. And thanks, folks, for joining on a Saturday morning. And it's a wet morning, and definitely we are going to have a great conversation, great learning out of this session. So welcome to this session. First of all, thanks for making time. And I know being in Singapore, we are just out of lockdown, circuit breaker, and we have just started going into our norms, not yet the norms, but getting there. And with that, allocating time on a Saturday morning is definitely wonderful. Thanks for that first up. All right. Okay. So let's kick start, and it is good. It is going to be your session. I will try to talk less, though it is difficult for me to do that, but I will try. So I will talk less and invite you to start sharing about yourself very briefly, and then we will get into how you saw yourself where you are today from probably 10 years back, and what was the journey, and where and how you're shaping yourself as a leader for your own self, right? You're leading yourself, and in this part of leading yourself, being in the academics currently, and you are looking yourself moving into your careers very soon, not too far, right? It is like yesterday you started your primary education. Now I think Imani, you're already in university. Vaishali, you are going to be stepping into your next level of tertiary education soon. Same goes with Shivanjini in a year's time, and probably a couple of years for Jnana Selva, right? So it's a kind of a right time, where being Gen Z kids or youth, I shouldn't even be calling you kids, right? Youths or the new generation leaders, would love to hear from you what you're seeing yourself and how you're going to be moving yourself in order to get into the future of this world, digital world, as well as not only for you, but also the society, also for the community that you are in, for the workforce you're going to be in. Okay. All right. There's no who goes first. You are leaders to yourself. Whoever wants to go first, come on, kick in.
Okay, so I'm currently in NUS pursuing economics, year two, moving into year three now. So my path is actually quite different from, per se, another person who came from JC and then straight away stepped into a course, because I did not start with economics first. I actually entered architecture, and then after a semester of picking up that course, I decided, okay, this isn't exactly my cup of tea, so I have to switch courses. So I had two phases of having to decide, what would be right for me. So after my JC education, so this is my mindset, because I didn't exactly have uh, a specific interest in a certain subject. Like for me, everything seemed very nice. Like I wanted to just explore more. So my main goal was, I'll look at the kind of results I get, and then based on that, I'll choose a course. And my main aim was, okay, when I'm picking up a course, I should look at whether the market for it is currently good, because that's what we're looking for, right? Like after I graduate, do I think that I'll be in a stable job position or not? So based on that, I narrowed down to, I actually only applied to very few unis. So I only had NUS architecture and NTU accountancy to consider from. Why I chose architecture is because I was always inclined towards designing, but I wouldn't say that I had much knowledge in it. It's like, it's an interest, but I should have maybe studied further. I did ask around. I mean, I read up, and then I had seniors taking up the course, so I did ask them. But the kind of feedback they gave me was, you will never know until you try it out for yourself. And I think that was something I really wanted to do for myself as well, because I kept hearing different opinions from everyone, but then you would never know until you put yourself in that position. So even though because my dad is also from civil engineering, so he works with architects in his daily life, so he wasn't exactly very um, happy about it, because he thought I didn't have much knowledge and I was kind of stepping into it like blindly. But then I kind of reassured him that, even after going in, if I feel like it's not for me, I'll let you know. But I want to try this for myself, because I'll end up regretting if I don't. So it's still a decision that I do not regret to this date. But yeah, it just didn't ended up favorable for me, I would say. But so based on that, like what I said previously, I narrowed down to architecture and accountancy, and then I ended up picking architecture because I felt that I didn't want to just do a course just for the sake of stability. I wanted to do it because I wanted to be I wanted to have some kind of passion for it. I wanted to like it in a sense. So after I stepped into the course, I realized, okay, I wasn't really aware of what I was stepping into. Like, I should have done my research further, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm here now, so I have to do the best that I can do. But then after a few days, I realized, okay, something is definitely going wrong, because I realized I'm putting in so much effort, but then I'm not seeing the how do I say, the returns for my efforts. Like, it's not explicit enough. Like, I'm spending so much hours, I'm putting in 14 hours a day, but I don't see myself getting anywhere. So something must be wrong. Either I'm not as competent as my peers, and I should put in more effort to reach the same level as they are, or maybe this is just not where I should be channeling my strengths into, because this is not something that is suited for me. So what I did was I let it go, because I still had like 6 months. So and it was quite fast paced because we had weekly projects to do. So I just tried to take in as much as I can, because like it's a very multidisciplinary course. So I'll be learning different things at different aspects. So I was trying to figure out, okay, maybe a certain aspect I learn in a certain week's project, I might find it more suitable to myself. But as time went by, I realized, okay, this is not the kind of work culture I want to see myself in, because I don't feel driven enough. Because for me, okay, initially I had this mindset that, passion alone would help me survive in a field. Like, I don't disagree with that, but I realized that if I don't see myself getting the returns, the driving force is kind of uh, put down. Like, I don't see myself as motivated as before, because like at the beginning, yes, you will want to keep pushing yourself until, like, tell yourself that I will see the light at the end of the tower, at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the day. But after some point, it gets tiring. Like, I want to see something happening, that kind of thing. but but I was also hesitant to bring it up to my parents, because I told them I want to try this out for myself, believe in me and believe in myself. But then thankfully my dad brought it up. He was like, I don't see you getting anywhere, you just seem miserable. It wasn't that I was very, very miserable, it was just that I was very confused and lost at that point, because I didn't know what to do, because I felt that I put myself into this, so I should pull myself till the end. But I just don't see the light at this point. But he encouraged me, and he sat down and talked to me, and asked me, like, do you see yourself excelling in this course, because it's going to be 5 years long and you're just at the first semester, and you see yourself struggling. Do you think you'll be able to endure it for the next 4 years? Do you think you'll be able to come out as a successful architect? Do you think you can be the cream of crop amongst everyone else there, because there's like 120 students there? And then I gave it some thought. Obviously, it's not something I can like immediately think and then come up with. So I talked to my professor, my tutor, and a few graduate students who fortunately were working near my studio at that point. So after a talk with them, I realized, okay, maybe this isn't the field for me. It's not a field for everyone because it requires a high level of dedication, a high level of passion. You need to be really invested in it. And what I realized was I need to see myself as someone who cannot be anything but an architect. But truthfully, that's not what I saw myself as. For me, it was just, okay, I'm going to go in, and then in the process, I'll see myself as an architect. But but I realized, okay, no, I'm not ready to put myself through this process. So I decided, okay, I want to transfer course now. But then it's not the same as from JC. I have like a lot of courses to choose from. I can rank up to like 8 courses, more than that, as much as I want. So I always have a backup plan to fall on, even if I don't get my first rank. But then now, if I'm transferring course, I only have one choice. So it's like, it's the dead end. If I don't get it, I don't get it. If I get it, it's only this course, and I have to stick to it for the rest of my life, because if I'm going to change another time, well, my the money is going to go to waste, and yeah, I don't have much years to give up in just changing classes. So this time, what I did was, okay, I'm gonna, like, because I did have some time before the end of the semester. I only had to submit the form in per se November. So I had another talk with my professor. I told him I'm intending to change courses, and then I told him which course I'm changing to, and then got some of his perspectives on it. And it was good in a way, because now that I'm approaching someone who's already in the field and working field, and then getting their perspectives, I of course talked to my parents. And then I fortunately I knew a few friends from JC who were picking up economics as well. So I asked them. So this time I can drill them and thoroughly ask them, so how is it? How is the curriculum like? You took one sem of it. So how was it like? What did you have to do? And I realized for econs and architecture, it's very different, because in econs, what you have to do is I have to plan the entire 4 years for myself. Nothing is assigned to me. I have to pick my modules. I have to plan my curriculum. I have to see when I want to graduate, when I want to do this, when I want to declare my specialization, etc., etc. So I realized, okay, I need to be more independent now. Am I ready to take this up? Because I'm the JC education per se. I'm not trying to pinpoint faults in it, but until from primary school to JC, I realized I was so used to getting spoon fed. So I was not very street smart. So I didn't know if I was ready to take ownership of my learning, because now it's university stage. I cannot be still waiting for people to come and like guide me. This is the path, you have to do this. I have to learn how to take decisions for myself. So I was like, okay, I need to be prepared for this. I need to learn more. Okay. Then I went to ask a few other people who were, because my course also falls under the faculty of arts and social science. So there were a few other modules I would have to take. So I needed to know, okay, are those modules suitable for me as well? Because I just wouldn't be exploring economics. I need to look at other disciplines, other disciplinaries as well. So after that, after like around 1 month of trying to ask around and getting an idea of how it would be like, I decided, okay, I think this would be the course for me. And one thing that helped me was, because I think at that age, it's not very easy to know which course is going to be suitable for you, because you never know. Because I think change is something that is constant. See, like I might think that a certain course is suitable for me today, but after entering it, I'll realize, oh no, the work field is very dynamic. Everything is changing, and in the future, I think this job might be lost. I don't see myself thriving in this field anymore. So that's something I felt when I was in architecture as well. Like after I entered, then I realized, okay, this might not be the thing for me. So when I was picking economics, one thing that actually helped was I took econs back in JC. So I had some bit of prior knowledge to it. And I realized back in junior college, I really enjoyed doing the subject as well. So that was one very, very major point that helped me, because now I knew I already have this interest towards this subject. So I see myself doing better in it, because I know where to channel my interests and strengths into. But that is not to say that econs in JC and econs in uni are very, very similar. They are very, very, very different, because yeah, there's a lot more statistics and mathematics involved. And I asked about that as well. But then I realized, okay, it's all right. I will enter this. I already have some sort of interest. I'm just going to build on it. Try to make myself better, because it's not just about what I learned in uni. If I want to make myself marketable to the entire world or the working field, I need to keep on improving myself. That's one thing I realized after coming into uni. If I want to be per se on par with the rest of my peers, I need to always look out for opportunities in which I can improve myself. Like what the government is doing with Skills Future and etc. Always build on your skills, build on your resume, make it look as colorful as it can, in that kind of way. So that's where, like, after I made that decision, thankfully I got accepted into the course. And after I entered, I was happier. I knew where to uh, channel my strengths into. In a sense, I was working hard and I was getting the results as well. And that, in a way, helped as a driving factor for me to want to keep doing better and want to keep learning more. So yeah, that's my story. And I am very happy in econs now.
Really, very wonderful, and very happy for you, Himani,
Thank
because
you.
the way you related the whole thing, um, I can visually see you. Your eyes were going up to your
Yeah.
right up, left up. When such a thing happens, just to share with you from a behavioral side of it, when such a thing happens, what is happening back of your mind is you are going into that situation. You're putting yourself. It's kind of a pushing rewind button and literally seeing visually all those that you have gone through. And definitely a big kudos to your dad. He
Yes,
was he was
definitely.
kind of performing like a fantastic coach, throwing the question at you. Well, just to share a little bit about during the early stages, he was talking to me a couple of times, and only one thing that I shared with him, when kids come up and then ask for help, just don't go and provide them answers, because that's going to be your answers, that's going to be your desire. Rather, just steer them in there. And of course, I didn't know you switched from architecture to econs, but such a wonderful transformation. And indeed, the way that your dad was putting the questions across certainly will trigger those thought process about, hmm, okay, how come I didn't think about this, right? Somebody standing outside gets a better visibility of what's going on. Uh, and when you started the conversation, it was as if like you were at your tail end of JC, and then you stepped into your architecture thing, and your energy totally shifted when you started talking about the phase where you went in with respect to talking to your professors, talking to your mentor in the school, and then discussing with them, knowing that they have been in this academics, in this career building. I'm calling it career building because this is where you're going to be going to the next stage and next
Mm.
level. And I could visibly see the energy shift. Certain things that you called out, just before we go to listen to others here. You started off saying things such as feedback from seniors, exploration, and one other thing that you mentioned was passion versus, is this right for me?
Mm.
And is this going to put me where I want to? And very interestingly, just day before yesterday, I shared something from a Japanese way of looking at rooting, centering ourselves. Let me just take a minute or two to share this. And when you started sharing that, I was kind of wondering, how did this happen? Because I just shared it in a group about 2 days back, and you started talking about this. Are you all able to see this
Yes.
picture? Ikigai is nothing but reason for being. The reason for being is, first of all, rooting yourself inward. Who am I? What am I? Kind of a discussion. Okay, talking to your own self. And what this ikigai is what people are going to be saying, that this picture is little westernized. The deep-rooted Japanese is little different, but nevertheless, what is really focused? You see ikigai at the center. You imagine yourself there. That's the perfect ideal position of being there, as well, knowing the meaning and the purpose. Why am I here? And what am I going to be doing? Am I going to be enjoying what I'm doing? Right? So the four circles talk about love. What do you love doing? Right? It's not the passion, right? Passion comes little later. Love about I'm very much liking what I'm doing. I really love doing this. One thing that you mentioned, I know I really had my focus into econs, but it took a while for you to really realize that part. And then what the world needs. Yeah, you can do so many things. Um Outside world, if a profession you go into and that profession is not going to be a need in the world and you're not going to be supplying what you have learned. So second component is what the world needs, and the third component is you got to be paid enough, right? Everybody does anything and everything is for money, and if there is no money, why to do? And the third thing is, what are your skills? Have you gained those skills? What are you good at? When you combine all these things, I won't go much in detail in the interest of time. Probably we can do it in a separate session. When these two circles intersect, that's where you see passion, mission, vocation, and profession kicks in. And when the three circles intersect, that's where you see those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Even with three, you'll still be missing when you have, just for example, when you look at item number one, which has three circles intersecting, the circle for paid for, the circle for your skills, the circle for what you love doing. But is it really useful to the world? Right? That part is missing. Once you bring that, that's when you find your purpose and the reason for being, and Japanese call it ikigai, right? Um, Thanks for allowing me to share that, because that resonated with what you just started sharing. And you mentioned also about the feeling. I know I like doing, I love doing architecture. Is that bringing a meaning? Is that bringing uh, what I really want to achieve on a longer term? Is that going to get me where I want to be in my career? That was the turning point
Mm.
for you. Wonderful. And that's a fantastic thing. And I should be talking to you later about even bringing. See, one thing, you went through that pain.
Yes.
Definitely, it was a pain,
Mm.
but you
It,
came out
mm,
of the pain, and now you know where you're going.
mm,
And that experience is what quite a lot of people out in the outside world need. Not all parents
mm.
are like your dad.
Yes, definitely.
They're going to
I
be
yeah.
forcing, dumping, and the kids are going to be really struggling, right? So what you've gone through is so much of value in it.
Mm,
And when you start sharing that, people will get, because you're doing this from your level and your group,
mm,
they will be able to relate it.
mm.
And when somebody gone through this and share, even parents tend to get listened to that. Okay, wonderful, Himani.
Can I just add one more
Please, please,
point?
please.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, like what you said, I'm very, very, very thankful for my parents for being so supportive. They knew that I was making my own decisions, and they might not have been very supportive of it because everything was hazy at that point. It's like uncertainty, but they still trusted me enough to let me find my own path, let me go through the experience. Didn't say, oh, you chose this, you wanted to get out of it in one semester, what are you doing? They never asked me that. They were like, okay, you want to change, okay, I'll allow you to change, I'll support you in every way. So I'm very thankful for that, and it would be very, very nice if every single parent could be that way and be as supportive as they were. And another thing I want to say is, I think it's something I've developed over time or developed after going through this experience, is to be not afraid of change,
Yeah,
because change is constant. So you never know what's going to happen. Even now with the COVID situation, nobody expected it, and everything is uncertain. But it's to always tell yourself that you'll be able to handle it no matter what life throws at you, and be prepared to face the changes that are to come. Yeah.
fantastic message, Himani. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I love that maturity that you've gained. Fantastic,
Thank
fantastic.
you.
All right. Thanks. And who would want to go next? Shiva, do you? You got to unmute.
Yeah, yeah. I go next. Currently I'm in Sec 4. So, okay, when I stepped into secondary school, my main motive was to actually enjoy my secondary school life, because I saw how much my I felt like my brother actually loved his secondary school, and I would just wanted to see him a little bit more mature and stuff like that. So my secondary 1 and secondary 2, I was actually very complacent, which I kind of regret a little bit now. But the thing was, I just finished my national exam, which was PSLE. So I just felt like, yeah, I deserved the 2 years of fun and jolly. So that went by. And then Sec 3 came and I still did not pull up my socks. I was still like a child and I did not start to take things seriously. And towards the end of the year, I was so stressed out and like I didn't know if I would make it through to Sec 4 or I would have to spend another year in secondary 3. So it was such a very pressed stage and I really couldn't tell anyone about it because I told my friends were like, yeah, you'll get through. And one of my friends actually thought she was going to retain along with me as well. So as in it's lovely to get through such things together with your friends and stuff like that. But mainly I was personally every night it would be very scary. I just imagine what if I retain? And my main concern is that how am I going to make new friends? How am I going to cope with a year without friends and peer supports? So but thankfully I did get through into Sec 4. And right now I was actually starting to work really hard at Sec 4 because I know the pain I felt previously when I thought I couldn't get through. So and then COVID came and the government removed my mid-year exams, which for a second I was a bit happy, but then came the thought, what's next? So I couldn't, if there is no mid-year paper, I wouldn't know where I stand currently, and I wouldn't be able to assess myself. So if there's no mid-year, I have to straight go into prelims and touch wood. But if there is no O levels, and they're going to take my prelim results, so I really don't have a checkpoint test anywhere there. So I have to do everything on my own. I have to do everything at home, and honestly, home-based learning was not helping. It was just a very, very good time to get myself distracted, which I still don't like to this day. So I'm very, very thankful that I can actually go back to school right now because Sec 1s to Sec 3s have 1 days in and 1 days off, 1 week off. So I feel like staying at home is just a huge distraction. There's so many things around you and you just want to do anything you can to not study. So I think going to school is helping me a lot. But at the same time, when I come back home, I'm extremely tired and I sleep for an hour, I wake up and then I just procrastinate. And then I do some homework and I don't necessarily feel accomplished. But the thing is, I do my homework and most of the times I feel like, yeah, I'm done. That's it. So I studied, I came back home and I studied. But that's not the point. So I've recently started to put up a timetable so that I can pace myself and do things according to the timetable. I used to think that it did not help because, okay, I have something written down to do for today. And if I don't do it today, so what? I just do what I'm supposed to do for the next day. And if I don't do it the next day, so what? So it just went on like that. And I never followed the timetable and I never found it useful. But lately, now I know the importance of following it. And if I don't do it that day, I actually start to feel a bit guilty. Don't know why and don't know what changed, but I start to feel guilty. And the next day, I'll do double the workload. So currently, I feel like I'm a little bit more prepared and getting towards O levels. But now that the study stress is kind of going down, the next thing that's come up is, what am I going to do next? So, okay, I graduate from my secondary school. And then what's the next step? So my school is starting to encourage us to take up early admissions exercise, EAE. I did want to do it at first, but then I apply and I get selected. So the next step is an interview. For the interview, I'm supposed to showcase my portfolio and things that I've done so far so that, I could promote myself to help them get me into the course. But I do not have anything to show them. Mainly, a lot of people show them the CCA records and how they took up leadership positions in their CCAs and in the school or whatnot. I was never in the class committee because I hated that kind of responsibility. I did not go for my CCA as well. I actually started with modern dance for the first 2 years, and I was very committed, and I was I went for like every single session because I had SYF, and if I didn't go for one session, I will be standing out, which is really, really embarrassing for me. So I pushed myself and I went the 2 years, even though I hated going CCA. And then I finally got my family members and my teachers to accept the fact that I want to change my CCA. So I changed to something that was a little bit more lighter and did not require a lot of work, which was environmental club. Not proud of it, but yeah, I went there and I ended up not going for that CCA as well. So it was there was something in me. It was just hard for me to go to CCA, and I till this day I don't know what's happening. But CCA is over now, and I mean I'm a Sec 4, so I stood down already. I got my bonus points, the leaps result last week, and I realized I'm not gonna get any bonus points. So it's all really based on my end of year O-level results. Whatever points I get, that's that. I'm not gonna be able to minus the 2 points from my CCA or even 1 point, which is a bit stressful, and now I have to work even harder. But again, back to the EAE thing. So I now I don't want to put myself through EAE because let's say I get through the application, go to the interview, I really have nothing to showcase, which will bring my chances down. So overall, I feel like I'm just wasting my time. But at the same time, I feel like maybe I should have given it a chance. Like if I get it, then yeah, great, I got it. But if I don't, I'll know at least I tried. But up till yesterday, I was very sure that okay, maybe I'm not gonna put myself through EAE. I'll just work harder right now and get through in JAE. And then I saw a brochure. I woke up in the morning, I saw a brochure on my table from Ngee Poly. It's a brochure for EAE applications and the benefits and everything like that. So I was looking through it this morning and we're like, maybe should I do EAE? So I'm still very confused. So that's one side. Another thing is, what if I put through EAE, what course am I supposed to put in? I want to do medical based stuff like that, like healthcare stuff. I also have a place in my mind for psychology because my parents are very inclined to looking at things in a very different perspective. Like if I tell them that I have a problem or something, the very, very main thing that someone would advise you to do is, okay, so what are you going to do about it? But my parents, they have a different way of looking at it. They will first start with, oh, how did it start? And I can't really explain it, but for every single situation you throw at them, they can give you a very different perspective and a very helpful solution. And it's in it for both of them. And I've seen it in myself as well. As simple as advising your fellow classmates. It's the teen stage and everyone's getting into a relationship and breaking up and stuff like that. I can actually help them and advise them on how to get through the situation. And it has actually helped them, which kind of makes me feel satisfied and makes me feel a bit useful. So I thought maybe, okay, psychology is the thing. So I went to my mom and I asked her, should I go into medical psychology? Because I really can't choose at this point. Out of the 100,000 courses there are there, I narrowed it down to 2. Now, can you help me? And then the thing she said was, medicine, like even in this stage, medicine is the one that's standing out. In the COVID situation, medicine is the one that's standing out. And as for other fields like engineering and whatnot, they are not really going well. In the work field, in the business, it's not happening. Nothing's happening. So she thought that would be great. And since I have the passion in it, it'll be even better. As for psychology, she does support me in psychology, but the thing is, I'm not outgoing. It's not easy for me to meet someone and like talk about your problems, get deep and emotional with me. That's not how it works for me. I need to get to know you, and it takes a while for me to break the ice. So that's that, and I have to talk a lot and a lot and a lot. And something that my dad made me realize was he's a coach. So the thing he keeps saying is ask questions and make sure they come up with the answer themselves. But what I tend to do is give them the answer. I give them the solution and the answer, and like, yeah, you go try this. If this doesn't work, come back to me. You know, so that's the kind of thing that I do. So I still don't know if I'm cut out to be in psychology, or if I can do medicine. But that aside, I need to get the grades because both have a pretty low entry requirement. So that's like my main concern right now, and that's my story.
Wow, you started pouring. Started out from your PSLE, and you talked through your 4 years, and you talked through about what the bigger thing is you realize after 2 years into your secondary that fear which came into you in your sec 3 when you started looking at, hey, what am I going to be doing if I'm forced to retain, to get retained in Sec 3? Okay, yeah, it was a wake up call. But again, you also brought up few key words, points, and one of them I love is procrastination. Well, I procrastinate as well. I'm not going to hide myself. Like, I do everything in my list of to-do list, and I'm done every night. Well, I do have something that's been dragging because of other priorities which are kicking in, and that's kind of going down. I'm not supporting procrastination, but at the same time, just being visible with respect to what you want to accomplish is very important. And I'm happy that at least you're watching your own self. See, that's kind of going to bring out. And the other thing I should really call out is you don't seem to be afraid of being vulnerable, and you started sharing what was not working for you. That's the first step to realization, right? When you get to know that, hey, this is not working, and then you're telling to your own self that, hello, Shivanjini inside, this is not working. What you should be doing, and you are asking the two Shivanjinis are talking, which is the first best step. That started almost more than a year back, which is good. COVID did quite a lot of good things, quite a lot of not so good things. Fair enough. Even though you did not like the way that the whole thing of distractions at home, you also, I think, uh, definitely enjoying certain modules which are pulled out from your modules to be tested for O level, right? Okay. The other thing that you mentioned about based on your responsibility, things that you are seeing from your parents, plus the same thing that you are doing to others, right? Helping others realize where their strengths are. So it should not be that difficult for you to kind of perceptualize. Earlier, we heard Himani talking about things after even taking a course. That's the point, that was a breaking point for each and every one of us, right? That breaking point, don't stress too much of yourself. Just divert your focus to do what is now as a priority, right? DEA, well, I don't discourage you to go and try it out. Whatever that you're going to be trying out is an experience, whether you get it or not. At least I tried out. That's a satisfaction. You said it as well. So that's a good thing. And by the way, whatever happened this morning, well, I did not realize. You're just sharing. That's wonderful. And the second thing is psychology. Yeah, why not? Right? We have talked about it. Again, current focus is what is required next week, what is required for next 3 months, and get that cleaned up. Once that is cleaned up, you have still enough time until your O level results to kind of explore and do more things. I know you know that. And well, in this conversation, you're also kind of taking me back to the ikigai slide I just showed you, right? Probably you have two components there. Maybe you've got a little more think about the other two components and bring up with, oh, this is what I like doing. But again, you don't have to really stress yourself at this point of time, right? Even after JC, that's what Himani shared. And It's not one size fit all. What's good for you? And there could be someone out there who may be saying that I know what I want 5 years from now or 10 years from now. When they started their secondary, they may have had that clarity in mind. It's not just the clarity in mind. Probably that's what they have been really loving from the early stages and then start doing, and they may go there. That's fantastic. But statistically, more than 80% of us, all genders, we tend to change as we move along. Even after you graduate from whatever course that you're going to be taking, and let's say psychology, for example, right? So psychology, you take psychology, and that psychology, within psychology, you have sub areas. Okay, what you have showcased right now, Shivanjini, is that you realized yourself. That's one. And you know two things. One, you are helping others, and probably we will have a separate conversation about why do you think I'm not a outgoing person, but you're still helping others. So there is a tiny bit of a disconnect. So we can easily, probably others may have ideas to share as well, because this is just a conversation. And the other thing is also that now you are kind of niching yourself into psychology kind of an area, seeing that's where you are feeling most satisfied. When you help somebody and you see the results, you're satisfied. Maybe, right? So an exploration that's getting you where you want to go. Fantastic. Thanks for that message. Thanks for not being afraid to be vulnerable and sharing so openly. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shivanjani.